My nickname was actually Goth Barbie. In a good way. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. It's hot in here again. It was not hot in here like 10 minutes ago. It's actually very nice. It is 1 o'clock, that's why. This is the third time I'm recording this episode, and I have like a outline now because I'm so exhausted that I can't follow my train of thought, so I had to write everything down. So hopefully, you know, this won't take forever. So let's start. This is episode 30. We'll be planning July projects. July is our last month of summer projects, but it doesn't matter because we haven't done any summer projects, so does not matter. Anyway, let's get into it. What I'm wearing, what am I wearing? A Cascade 220 top, with the Highland wool, Peruvian Highland wool. I don't know what the color is. It'll be linked below. Not that anyone cares because they're just tops. A finished item. We finished the Wool of the Andes crop top. This is Garnet Heather. This will be part of our dye project this month. This is going to be overdyed black. I love how they look so small when they're done. You're like, who is this going to fit? But they actually stretch out quite a lot. And I even have a lot of stretch. They're not the most supportive top, I'll tell you that. But they're super comfortable. And if you have allodynia and you don't like stuff on your skin or stuff too tight around you, they're fantastic. Okay. I'm going to try to breeze along because we got a lot to do and it's hot. I'm drinking iced green tea today, which is what I usually have come summer. And I make it in the fridge now. I put it in the fridge overnight. It's delicious. Really, really like it. So let's go to whips. Our dye project this month is shorts. And if you remember, the pattern makes these a medium large, and the hip goes up to 44 inches. And I measured my hips, and the biggest, like I took it like all around, the meatiest part of my butt, everything, and the biggest measurement I could get was 34. So I'm like, we're gonna have to work some math out on this thing. So what I did is, there's a part after you make this tube. Okay, the tube fits a 25-inch waist, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you go from 25 inches to 44 inches. So you're basically going like whatever. Or is it 29? It doesn't matter. The point is that when you get to, after you're done with this tube, you section off. So you have 4 sections. So there's a front panel, a back panel, 2 side panels. So in the front and back panel, you do all these increases, and the pattern tells you to increase every stitch. And because I didn't want, obviously 44 inches is way too much, I increased every other stitch. So I was figuring 25 inches to 44 inches would be about 20 inches, 19 inches, right? 25 to 44. So let's say 25 to 45. So there's 20 inches. So what if I only need to go to 34 inches. So I was like, that's like 10, right? That's 10 inches instead of 20 inches. So I thought, let's just half the number of increases we do. So I think that'll do it, because I worked out the stitches per inch, and with my stitch count that I will have at the end of all the increases is going to give me about 32.8 inches, which of course is within the stretch limit of, I think the original finished measurement for the hips is 41 to 44. So 32.8 will certainly work in my 34. Hopefully. I hope so. That's what I'm going for. Oh, I forgot this. I'll try to remember to put in where I got this, because this is a handy dandy counter thing. Have you seen these? So it tells you what row you're on, and then you stick this on whatever row you have a thing on. So this is row 5. I do my increases. So I'm back on row 1. And then what I did is, look, because you increase so many times, I put my 1 marker. So it's my first one, so I have 5 more. So I got the numbers, so we'll go to 6. I don't know who these are from. I'll link them. I didn't expect to show them to you. I forgot they were on here. I'll link that below, the row counter and the stitch marker, progress keep, whatever, numbered progress keeper, I guess we'll call that. So this will not be done next week, I don't think, for next show, but probably for dye project, which is going to be a problem. So I'm probably going to have to, because for dye project show, these will already be dyed. So I might do a little, before I dye, I might do a pre-record a little bit of showing you them before we dye them, and then I'll record them after they've been dyed. That's probably what I'll do. Because I'm not gonna, because I want them all in the dye episodes. Anyway, this is really cool. Okay, so remember when I said I found this DK weight that was perfect? It wasn't perfect. That DK skein had the right yardage, but it's 120 grams, which means I can't use it because it's not 100 grams. And you know this, right? The grams per yardage matters about your yarn. That's really important. So I couldn't use that one. So instead I went to the sport weight. This is Nymph Sport from Supernatural Yarns and the colorway Brute Squad. So this is the only other one I had left for Eleanor to do, is sport weight. So what I did that I forgot to do on fingering weight Eleanor was put some lifelines in at the different weights. So when I hit 50 grams, I put my first one in. I don't know why they're so long on this side. So this is the first one. I know you think it's this bottom one, but that's not. I had to attach it to a loop because it was just hanging here. So this is 50 grams, 40 grams, and then 30 grams of weight. And I thought it was interesting because it's only like an inch difference. So once we block this and see where they end up, that'll be pretty interesting. And then I'm going to lay this on the fingering weight one and see if we can't get an idea of what that might be. I'm probably also going to compare it to the worsted weight one and see, because worsted weight, I mean, I'm probably going to put it on like this one and see like which one will give us the same amount. You know what I mean? Because Eleanor doesn't have any decorative edge. This is Dana and this is Maya. These are the ones that have decorative edges. Okay? So these are the ones that we need to know how far to work up. Like the top downs are kind of easier because you can put that on you and see about where it is. I mean, it's going to be a little bit longer once you block it, but these, it's kind of like impossible to wrap it around you and see where it's going, just by the nature of the construction. So I'm going to lay these on these. I'm going to lay them on fingering weight Eleanor and see what I think. You know, I'm going to try to mess around and see what I think. And of course, we'll talk about that after that. But this should be done next week. I only have 30, like I hit 30 grams. So I know we're going to do 50, 40, or 30. It's going to be one of those that we're going to stop at. But I wanted to show you, because I put these lifelines in. I mean, they're technically not lifelines. They're just markers of, you know, the yardage or the weight. But I had dropped a stitch. And then, so I had to drop down to fix it. So when I came to the lifeline, because the loop I needed to undo was on this. So I had to cut the lifeline, take the loop off, and then I just re-knotted it. So that loop is still, those two loops actually are not, they're going to be 3 because right there, I found another mistake. So I got to go back and do it again. Because you know how I am. Remember when on my Instagram when I was blocking my mint shawl and I saw that loop across and I sat out there and undid the bind off until I could, you know, unravel that one stitch down to fix it? Because I'm ridiculous and this is not going to happen. So I don't even know if it's the same row. It looks like did I do something over here? Because then, you know, once you do that, then your tension of that whole row is just messed up and you can't tell. The best way to tell, if you mess up on garter, the best way to tell is to really stretch it out and then follow the bumps, like follow the bump down. I can't see what I'm looking at. So, hold on, let's do it this way. So I can still have my microphone. So stretch it out, and then you can see the bumps. Can you even see? Then you have bumps and V's. Bumps and V's, sideways V's. So we go like this. There, you can see that better. Bumps and V's. Then you can better, when you relax it, you can see who's out of place. Like, let's come to that one that I messed up and show you that. Let you see that. I think it's on this side. Yeah, see right here. Oops. So if we pull that, you can definitely see that the bump and the V's are not there for sure, not lining up. So we got to fix that. That's going to be a pain. But anyway, 30 grams, this will be done for sure. By next episode, I'm probably actually going to fix this right after this episode so I can be done with it. Because I got to, squishy mail. This is, Naughty Knitting Sacks. I saw her on Chevy Rell's podcast, because you know, who doesn't watch Chevy Rell's podcast, right? And then I started following her on Instagram because I love her bags. I love this Japanese knot bag. I've been wanting one of these for a while. Well, since I saw this, I've wanted one of hers specifically, but I've been wanting one of them. But I have a rule now where I'm only buying goth and black knitting accessories. I'm only buying stuff that fits my aesthetic for my shop. So yeah, I'm only buying stuff like this. But when I first saw her on Chevy Rell's show, I went to her Etsy and she didn't have anything goth, and I was like, oh. So then I was messaging her for a while to get And then I was like, because she wanted to make me something custom. She was like, you know, you could just pick out a fabric you like, and then, you know, I'll just make. And I hate to ask people to do that because I'm really not that hard to please. Like I'm sure eventually you'll have something. Like the good time for me to buy stuff is Halloween because there's like bats. I love bats. Bats are like one of my favorite, bats and skulls. So that was sweet of her to offer, but I was like, no, you know, I'm sure you'll make something eventually. And this has the fornicating skeletons inside, which is hilarious to me. It's so funny. So anyway, I've been wanting this bag for a couple months, and I'm just in love with it. I'm so happy. Okay. Okay, we've done that. Okay, so July projects. It's so hot. I'm like looking for my mister. My mister's over there. I might do that. Okay. Here's the thing about July projects. First of all, we don't have any summer projects because we're just didn't do any summer projects. So there's no point in like, oh, it's our last month of summer, we have to do summer stuff. Because right now what we're focusing on is getting this second series of shawls done so I can have my life back. That's the whole point of everything. So by my estimation, if I do one series a month, we can have them all out. Well, we'll have them done by the end of September will be our last month. Maya will be, I mean, if we're still going in order, because Eleanor's almost done. We'll get to Eleanor second. Dana's next. So if we do Dana in July, Linda in, actually I should switch that. Maybe I should do Linda first because Linda's easy. Linda. Hey, Linda. One of my favorites for the person and the shawl itself. Linda is done differently because I don't need to know any, there's no edge here. I mean, there is, but it's because of, okay, how I design Linda is I work, this is top down and sideways, both ways. This is before blocking, so while you're working on it, I do 2 inches of garter. And I write down how many rows that was. And then I do 2.5 inches of the mesh. And then I write down how many rows that is. So I just keep repeating 2 inches, 2.5 inches, which by the second one I for sure have worked out. Sometimes this is a little bit wonky because of your start. So for sure you have that worked out by here. And then sometimes if I work it out here, then I just go back and restart because that's so little work. So Linda, that's all you do for Linda. And then when you keep your weights, and then when you can't do another repeat, you just finish off with the mesh, and that's your end. So I actually might do Linda first because, like Eleanor, she's super easy. There's nothing, I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do Linda next, and then we'll do Dana, and then we'll do Maya. Let's do that. That's easier. Okay, so this is 3 times now that I've come up with better ideas, like unblocked creative processes. So we're going to do Linda first. That's going to be good. So July is going to be Linda. Okay. So that was the plan, was to do 1 every month and then have them out the following month. Okay, so Eleanor was supposed to be finished this month, but she won't be. So we're going to release her next month. We're still doing that. Okay. I'll get to that in a minute. That's not happening now, though. We're not doing 1 each month. And here's why. Remember last week I told you that I ordered sport weight from Dire Supplier. It still hasn't shipped. And for some reason, their contact button is not working, so I can't even email them. I don't have an email to email them, which means it wasn't in stock when they sold it to me, which really makes me angry, because I would have not ordered from them then, which is probably why they didn't tell me it wasn't in stock. Anyway, what also happened was I decided to change my DK base, because the DK base I have is 231 yards, and that's really close to 220, which is close to 218, which is what my worsted is. And so I went looking at what other weights or what other yardages the suppliers have, and they have 246, I think. And I would like that better. I think that would give me, I like more yardage. I prefer more yardage than less yardage, to be honest with you, no matter what I'm doing. Because I never make gauge, so I have to make my own fabric anyway, and I like to have more length so that I don't run out of whatever I'm making. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but that's just how my brain works. It's how I like it. So since I'm changing my DK base, I don't have any DK that fits. So I'm going to have to get 4 DK. I already have 2 that fit, that are bare, that were gifts from my husband for like a birthday or something. So I'm going to do those. And then I'm going to buy 2 more. Or I might buy a full 10 pack. I'm not sure what I'm doing because I haven't decided, because it's for the shop and I don't know which supplier I want. So I'm going to, because the 2 bare that I haven't worked with yet, and so I want to see how I feel about working with that before I decide if I'm going to switch suppliers for that or not. I probably won't, because I have problems with their shipping all the time, and wool to die for, I never have problems with their shipping, and they're never out of stock. I mean, they never say they're in stock and then they're out of stock. Like, Andy's on those emails with what's coming in and when it's going to be updated and when it's going to be there, and I absolutely love that communication, so I can plan better, and if I need to go to a different supplier, I can, and I love that communication, and that it means if I can wait, I will wait. You know what I mean? Because he tells you what's coming and when they expect it. So if I'm like, oh, I can wait, then I will wait, because I appreciate, like, that makes me a more loyal customer because of that communication. Unlike Dire Supplier, that's like, here, buy this, and I go, okay, and it's been a week and it still hasn't shipped, and there's no contact thing. So I have bought from Dire Supplier before, and it's been fine. But I know recently they've been having this stock issue with the availability issue of things in stock, which is that's, if it was communicated, it wouldn't be a problem. My problem is with the communication. Anyway, hopefully they'll come soon, because I mean, I'm not going to need it until like the end of July, you know, so that's, hopefully they can get that together. So what this means is more dyeing, which is actually kind of good because I'm out of dye projects. I mean, all I have now are different bases to dye, but I don't have any colorways in mind. I don't have any projects in mind, and right now I can't do any other projects because we're trying to get these out. So this is the priority right now, is these. So if my last one of these comes out in October, then October we can actually start doing some fun stuff, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. So I do have a bare DK for Eleanor, okay? And our next dye day is July 5th. So I'm planning on dyeing DK Eleanor on July 5th when we're dyeing this stuff black. And hopefully the shorts will be done. Which I think they will be, because this next week is it's all thunderstorms in the forecast. So I can't dye if it's wet out, because it's a long story, but I can't. Because my cat will eat my swatches, and I don't want him to die. So I only dye when I can set my... Today would have been a good day to do that. But I got to get the shorts done. So if I dye the DK for Eleanor on July 5th, then we record the show July 7th, and then that weekend, the 10th and 11th, I can work her up. I can do a DK Eleanor in 2 days, which means that following Friday, the 16th, we'll release Eleanor on July 16th, okay? So we have a day. We have a date. Eleanor will be released, okay? Everything will be done by then. It's a very easy pattern, and there's not much to write up. I just have to do it for each weight, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do picture. I'm just not sure of a lot how that pattern's going to go. But the write-up, it's 2 rows, and then you just go to the you can't go anymore. So after the holiday, I'm going to start scheduling time to dye my swatches, because that's what's holding me back from doing other dye projects is I haven't finished my swatches. So because I still haven't done them, and we want to do them back in April, like back when I was ready to do it, I couldn't do it. Now I don't want to do it. I think what's holding me back is my cat's safety, and I was trying to find a way to do this safely without him because he will eat swatches. He's done it before. So I'm going to schedule it and make sure I work it into my time. And if I'm only doing these, then that should be fine, because these are pretty easy to do. They don't take much time. Fingering sport DK. I mean, it's still 3 shawls, but it's not like the shorts that are pretty intricate and I have to really, really pay attention. I mean, you see this sport weight, I'm dropping stitches and not even paying attention. Okay. So the point of doing the swatches first is I've decided that I was wanting to do goth colorways for the DK and the sport weights dyes that we got to do for these. The problem with that is, number one, the goth colors are not going to photograph well for me. And number two, the goth knitting community is not my target audience for my patterns. They are free patterns for my potential customers of my goth yarns. But I'm kind of expecting the patterns to get more reach than my yarn. Does that make sense? So I don't want them to specifically be goth, because number one, it's harder to photograph, and number two, it limits who's going to see my things. Right? Because if you're not goth and you see that, you're going to be like, ugh, vampires look scary. Right? I mean, I get that all the time. So I wanted these to be kind of more accessible to people and not like scare people off. Where if my yarn scares people off, I don't care. I really don't care. Because I'm filling a void that is in the yarn community for myself. So I don't care if people like it or not. I'm basically just selling what I won't use. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to learn how to do tonals, because I was watching The Bearded Pearl, who has not put out an episode. They've been so lax in their scheduling and just doing it on their own time when they're done gardening and have time to grace us with a podcast. Anyway, what's his name? Oh, I can't think of his name. He's doing that shawl in that mossy green that he made, and his tonals are so gorgeous. I've never been a tonal person, because the whole reason I started dyeing was to make a deep, dark, fully saturated black, because I couldn't find that anywhere except for Cascade. Cascade has a very, very rich dark black. But this is like 3 years ago, and I was having trouble finding a good black, dark black. A lot of them are not fully saturated, and I like black as you can get. Inky, inky, inky black. So that's what I learned to do, was full coverage, full saturation. I have no idea how to do a tonal, but I like how they look. And I also want to play with layering colors, which is kind of what I already do because I make my own colors, so I'm already layering colors. But I kind of want to play with that a little bit more, and maybe a layer or two of colors that I've made together to make some things. So I'm going to start looking at how to make tonals better, because it's probably the exact opposite of what I do. which I've already told you how we get the dark black. So while I'm working up my swatches, I'm hoping I will find some colors that speak to me, and we can kind of go with like a different color palette, because we with Eleanor, I did not do like a color palette. I just like whatever I had. I just was like, okay, this one. But like I have the fingering versions of these already picked out, and the fingering version for Dana is green and pink. It's called Blackened Rose, and it is dark green like a dark rose. For this one, I have a Cornbread and Honey, who's a local indie dyer to me. Cornbread and Honey, you should look her up. It's a cream base. It's a high twist cream base with like raspberry and charcoal speckles. It's very pretty, not me at all, but it was so pretty I had to get it. I'm like, eventually I'll find something, and I think it's gonna look gorgeous on Maya. I think it's gonna just look great. Then for Linda, I have Blackened Seasoning by Mitchell's Creations, and that is like red and yellow and a little bit of black speckles. Really, really, I mean, Linda's going to be red, obviously. So we've got green for her and some pinks for her. So I'm going to try to continue that as I'm looking at swatches and coming up with their DK and sport weight versions. Okay, so in the meantime, since I don't have sport weight and I only have 2 DKs, I can very easily get 2 more, but I'm trying to decide if I want to like go all in and buy a whole bag and decide what I'm doing. I just haven't decided exactly what I'm doing yet, because it's like, should I even bother with I don't want to go off track again. I'm trying to get through this episode, which is why I actually wrote down like a whole bullet points of stop going off track. Okay, so now we have a plan that works, okay? Because if those don't, like my sport weight doesn't come in time to dye them up, I haven't figured out what I'm doing with the DK just yet. But I do have all 3 of the fingering weights ready to go, and the fingering weights take me the longest anyway, so there's no reason why I can't get started on all 3 at the same time. I have needles for all 3 at the same time. This is going to be the easiest one because I don't even have to measure anything. These 2, I can just work those until I get to whatever measurement I'm going to start the edge on, and then just work that one until it's done, and then I can go back and finish the other one. So it's not even, there's really no problem here. I've worked everything out, so we're going to be okay. So like I was having like a giant creative block because I didn't know what I was going to do and what colorways I was going to do, and you know, what are you going to do? So now I know what I'm going to do. Tonals. And I'm going to change my DK base, which is weird because the DK base, there's like a lot of different things I want to offer. Like I want to offer a non-superwash option. In all my bases, I want to offer a non-superwash option because I love non-superwash. I also want to offer a 100% superwash option, so the no nylon. And then I also want to offer sock, which with nylon, in every weight I can, especially fingering and DK, maybe sport. I don't know how much sport I'm going to get, but I know people like to make DK socks too because they're warmer and they don't take as long. So I want to make sure I get those 3 things. So that all is going to depend on which one I'm going for. So I'm figuring I got to make that decision of what base is going to be my first DK base, because I'm not going to offer everything all at once, and it's not going to be available all the time because, like I said, I'm going to offer different bases and different fibers throughout the year. So when the weather is cold, we'll be focusing on heavier bases that have more, heavier, thicker bases and fiber contents that are warmer. And then in the spring and summer, we'll do the opposite. We'll do thinner yarns and focus on fibers that are lighter and don't retain so much heat, which I think will be fun. And that way I don't have to focus on colorways, because to be honest, in the Gothic scheme of things, there's not a lot of color. There's not a lot of different, there's only so many colors that I can put in so many combinations. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to have like a colorway, I think I've already talked about this, like a colorway of the season that I'll do up, and once the season's over, it may or may not come back. It might depend on how repeatable it is. It might depend on how well it sells. But I don't want color to be a big deal, because I'm only doing dark and moody colors, so it's not like I'm going to do a new yellow every season. You know what I mean? Like, I'm probably going to have one yellow, two yellows, mustard and gold, which, what are the differences between those? I'm not even sure. So I'm not going to have very many colors. I'll have a lot of dark and moody colors, but like I said, you can only mix those around so many times before, because I'm not doing neons. I'm not doing neons, because plenty of people are doing neons and black, and they can have that. I don't want neons. I want the dark and moody and the black stuff, which no one's doing, at least not to my satisfaction. So that's my plan. And I also like, because the thing I like most about my Knit Crate subscription was trying the different fibers. And so I'm really excited to be bringing new fibers, and I have no idea how I'm going to find those fibers, but I'm gonna find them. So I think that will be fun to try, and I think that will keep coming back, because here's the thing. Okay, as goth girl TM, as I like to refer to myself, goth girl TM, I'm gonna have to like show you guys pictures to prove that I actually was, because I don't bother with the makeup or the hair dye anymore. I'm too old for that. I don't do it anymore. And I took all my piercings out, so it's like, you're like, what? No, you're not. I was. My nickname was actually Goth Barbie. In a good way. What was my whole point of this? Oh, my point is, I would be perfectly happy with my deep dark black shawls in a whole bunch of different bases, like just straight black in all different designs, all different bases. They could all be black. I'd be perfectly happy with that. Like, fine with me. I would love that. I'm not sure how I'd keep them all, know what they all were, but like, I love having, like, I'm gonna do changing staircases in all black. And like these I want to do in all black so badly, but I'm like, okay, don't. But I probably will have one of each in black on a different base. Like, this is probably going to be on a cashmere base, maybe an Aran. Maybe I'll do maybe we'll see if I can get 2 skeins of Aran to do this on, like a cash Aran, maybe. I don't know. And then that'll be maybe a sport for like spring, because this one hits me as like a spring one. Anyway, that is not the point, because that's stuff that I want to do for me. But because I like black. Black's my favorite. Anyway, that went sideways. My point is, there will be dark and moody colors, but they're not going to change that much, because I think we're kind of, as a goth, we're kind of set in our ways about what colors we like, and that doesn't change that often. So like, I like reds and purples and blue and green, and those can only get so dark. It's not like you're gonna have all these different, like, I am planning some, like with a bright turquoise going into dark blues, or like a bright fuchsia going into darker pinks, I do have like those kinds of ideas, and then like an orange into a dark red as like a flame kind of thing. But again, that's gothy stuff. for when you want a low pop color, but most of it's going to be dark and moody, and figuring out how I want to play with those. I'm very excited to get these swatches done so I can do that. Very, very excited. Anyway, again, off topic, thanks. So, since what we're already doing until October, because this is going to go through September, doing all these shawls, right? I don't think I'm going to have any extra time. If I do have extra time, there are some things, like I still have the V-back tee. I did not cast that on this month because I'm so busy with, well, the kittens that I have, but getting those shorts done. Because the pattern's not, it's in English, but it's not fully, and like I said, I'm not an expert, so I've been having a little bit of trouble figuring out if I sit down and really pay attention and read it well a couple times, then I'm like, okay, I understand. But like where it's going, I think it's going to get harder as we go along, because we got to shape the legs. Like first we got to do short rows, and then we got to shape short rows again. Then we got to shape the legs and do a crotch, a whole crotch part. I don't even know how to do that. I did not read all the way ahead. I just kind of glanced and went, oh God, we'll just wait till we get there. We'll figure out what to do. There are also some crochet wall hangings I saw in one of my groups. One was the moon phases, and then one was the triple moon goddess symbol. Those I could use cotton or acrylic. I certainly have enough of those sitting around in black. Well, probably not cotton, because cotton I get in black and white, and that's it. So maybe triple moon, maybe. But probably the moon phases will probably be, I'll probably do light gray. I'll probably do acrylic and probably double it up. But crochet I can't work on for that much because of my ulnar entrapment, so that would be like, I don't know, something I put in at one of my daily things. So to not, but I really don't think I'm going to have time at all with all of these because I've got so much to do. I'd like to get as much done up front, and then have less to do later. You know what I mean? So I'll probably get the 3 fingerings done and then just wait on, while we're waiting for the DK and the sport weight bears to get here. So no big deal. Okay. I think that's all I have knitting wise. I did want to say that my husband Patrick and I celebrated our 15th anniversary yesterday, because I'm actually, this is the 3rd time I have recorded this, so today's actually Thursday, and I wish it was yesterday, because yesterday was not as hot as it is today. But it's the 15th anniversary of the day we met, which was hilarious because then we ended up spending all summer together. He proposed in August, and then he went off to grad school. He had grad school like an hour away. So we were together for like the whole summer. Well, not the whole summer, but the whole like end of August, early September. He went back to school. And I thought we were done. I thought, that's done. We're done. It's over. It was a nice summer romance, and he'll meet some young co-ed, because I was, what, 29? When we met, 29? And he's 4 years younger, so he's about to turn 40. He's turning 40 in October. So anyway, I thought for sure he's going to meet some young co-ed, because he was also teaching, you know. I'm like, he's going to meet some young co-ed and forget all about me, because, like, who am I? You know, I'm nobody. I'm just a summer romance, you know. He came back, like, every weekend. Spent all the holidays with me. And I knew I was in trouble. I knew I was in trouble. Like, I was in big trouble. So we were together for 10 years. We got married on our 10-year anniversary. which was 5 years ago. So we've been together for 15, married for 5, and we moved in together after a year. So that's the history of our relationship. So yeah, I think it's an accomplishment, considering I didn't think I would ever get married or even be in a long-term relationship with anyone. So, round of applause for us. Because marriage is hard. Long-term relationships are hard. I don't really think there's any real difference between, because I really didn't want to get married. The secret, I am not a fan of marriage. I think it's outdated, and other than the legal protection for women, I'm not sure there's a reason for it, because I just don't. I don't think our relationship changed at all when we got married. Other than I lost a lot of my health insurance, which was really bad for me. But I don't feel any different than we were the same before. So I don't really feel like it. I feel like everyone was lying to us, like, oh, marriage is the best and it's so much different. And I'm like, I don't feel any different. And we didn't have like a wedding. We went to the courthouse, and it was just my immediate family and his parents, I think, his grandma. So it's my mom, my sister, and her 2 kids. Yeah, it was really small. And then we went to the Olive Garden for lunch. Was it like a Wednesday, Thursday? I forget what day of the week it was. We just went and did it because we wanted to do it on our anniversary, on our 10th anniversary. So anyway, I don't feel any different being married at all. It's the same. But I mean, by that time we already had the house. We were already, together for 10 years. So it wasn't any, I don't know. I like to count our 15 and not the 5. Like, I feel like it just dropped us down to now, oh, we've been married for 5 years. Like, we've been together for 15. Like, I like the 15 more than the 5. Like, I feel like it somehow lessens it. And plus, I kind of liked the fact of, the idea of being unmarried. I don't know why. I just did. Because, like, you ever read, like, old stuff, like, old-timey stuff about old women that lived, and you're like, you'll read, like, oh, she was a spinster till the day she died, and you're like, don't you wonder about her life? Like, don't you wonder, like, I wonder if, like, she had a girlfriend, or if she had a boyfriend, or maybe he was married, to someone they didn't love, and they had, like a secret thing, or maybe they had a secret family. Like, I always wonder these what-ifs of because who knows what was happening back then. It's not like you had social media and videotapes and cameras everywhere to catch everybody, and I think you could sneak around a lot more and do a lot of different stuff. But then, you're also, like, thrown into rivers and drowned as witches and stuff like that. So, trade-offs, I guess. I don't know. But I think I identified with the stronger women that didn't, bow to the societal pressure to be forced into motherhood, I think. So I like stories like that. Also, you guys, I have the saddest of news. It's not really sad, but Debris is canceled. Debris is not coming back, and I'm so angry about it because I got, like, emotionally invested again in a show that lasted 1 season, and I'm tired of TV doing this to me. So I decided I'm not watching any new TV shows, which is terrible because we also started watching the new Superman. He's got the kid from Road to Perdition in it. We've been watching that, and I hate it. I like him, and I like Superman, but I hate the kid aspects. Like, it's like Cobra Kai. I have no interest in the children whatsoever. Like, I don't care about the kids. I want to see Johnny and Daniel fight, and I want to see Superman kick ass like he always does, But it's like Smallville almost, but without any of the young, good-looking people. Or maybe I'm too old because the kids look really, really young, and I'm like, was Tom Welling this young? Was Jensen Ackles this young? Because I don't remember them being that young in Smallville. I mean, that was like 20 freaking years ago. I don't even know how long ago that was. But I'm old now. Yeah, because I was on when I was like 25, because I was in Seattle when I was 25. So it was still in the air. And that was almost 20 years ago, because I'm 44. So 19 years ago. So, and that wasn't the first season, so it was definitely 20 years ago. Oh my God, I'm so old. Anyway, then they also canceled Manifest, which we just started watching on Netflix. So I'm like, so I'm done becoming emotionally invested in shows that they cancel after the first season. I'm sick of it. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. Stick with movies, I guess, that I've watched 100 times. Just keep watching those. Let's keep watching knitting podcasts, whatever. Anyway, I don't have anything else, which is hilarious because my last episode was an hour and 30 minutes because my train of thought kept going off the rails. But anyway, I think we have a good plan now, and I didn't expect that this podcast would help me work out my creative blocks. But I guess it makes sense because I don't have anyone to talk to about knitting anymore because our knitting group, I don't have a knitting group anymore that meets in real life. We broke up right before COVID, and then I don't have a knitting group anymore. So there's one close by. I mean, not really close by. Not as close as that one. I mean, I could probably start one again, but I don't know. I don't really like people, so. But I like this talking stuff out every week, and planning stuff is helping me break through because I was having trouble with what colorways I was going to do for these and what my vision was and what I wanted to do. And my designing is separate from my dye business, so I want to keep them separate as separate entities, and because one's going to be more accessible to people and my dyeing is going to be very, very small market, so which is fine. That's how I want it. I don't want to be the dyer that blows up and has to dye 1,000, I don't want that. That is not my vision for my business, is not that. Which is why I'm doing goth dyeing. So basically I'm just going to do stuff I want to knit with and then sell the extras and maybe take some orders. That's my plan. I don't want to be a big, huge indie dyer. I'd rather have fun designing. That's my plan. So that'll be fun, I think, then, because I think I really want to be doing, like, when there's a new release of a pattern, like Casa Pinka's famous for this. She'll release a pattern, and every indie dyer already has skeins matched up for kits. And I'm always I'm like, oh, it's so gorgeous. I want to do it. There's going to be a knit along, and you got to get your yarn by this date. It's going to start, and it's going to be so fun. And then I go through, and all of the kits are beautiful colors. Don't get me wrong, beautiful colors. But I think in everything that I looked through, I saw one that had a black skein. One. And then the other skein was red. And I swear to God, it's either red or gray or white. And that's it that you get. That's it for if you're a goth buyer out here. That's it. And I was like, seriously? So I I want to be so in the know when these come out that I've got stuff already planned. That I've got some goth stuff ready for my gothers. I know there are not a lot of us, and that's fine. There don't need to be a lot of us, but I want to cater to those, and I want, so you can have those, you can participate in the make-alongs or the knit-alongs, and they don't have to be, or crochet-alongs, whatever, and you don't have to just do it with black and white or black and red or black and gray. We can do some really pretty colors that are dark and moody and goth, and we can do that, and that's what I want to do. That is my vision for my shop, is to do those kits for all that crap. That's what I want to do. Because it angers me every time I see it. Every time I see it. Like, there's a new one. I forget what they're doing. I don't even remember who's designing, because I was like, pfft. Like, of course you're doing another one. And I'm looking at it through nothing. And I'm like, oh, I'm not ready yet, because it's still got these. So come October, I want to really get into it and really, which means I'll have to have some tonals. I'll have to have some tonals. I have to do some tonals. I'm trying to figure out if I can do a black tonal. I don't even know. I'm not sure. That might take some, like, resist. I might have to, like, be twisting some skeins or something. But there's tons of stuff I want to play with that I see regular dyers play with that I want to goth out so bad. So I got a list. Some, I'm excited to start doing that. But we're kind of stuck in this world until October, so we'll see what happens. Which is okay, because then after that I'll be dying inside, and I don't have to worry so much about... well, once my swatches are done, that's the most thing, is I gotta get my swatches done, because those I have to do when it's nice outside, so the cat doesn't eat it. Because otherwise I can hang the skeins in my bathtub, in my drying rack, and that's fine. Those will be fine, because I can shut the door and keep him out there. He won't eat it, but that's the only thing I worry about, is the drying yarn where he can get it. So, safety first, remember. Anyway, I am done, so I'm going to let you go. I'm going to... What am I doing? I have lots of stuff to do. I don't remember, but I have it all written down, so I won't forget. And it's probably almost time to feed kittens again, so I gotta go. And I hope you're having a great summer. I hope you are having a good time with me. I hope you have a nice relaxing time in your knitting or crocheting or weaving in your ends and stuff. Also, if you have any crochet ideas, send them my way, because I would really like to do more crochet. I'm thinking about this winter maybe starting designing some crochet shawls, because I have some yarn that I want to make into a crochet shawl, but I don't really see a lot that I like, so we'll see. I don't know. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I always forget what I'm saying. It's hot and I'm tired. I gotta feed kittens. Okay, so goodbye. Have a great weekend. Take care. Did I just do that totally backwards? Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week. Bye.